Hey everybody, welcome to the Meta League. I'm John as always, and it's time for the penultimate league update. Last Tuesday was the final league night for my paper in-store Shadows over Innistrad Sealed League. If this is your first league update, you probably shouldn't listen to this one. You should click the video up in the top right hand corner and go back to league update number 1 to kind of figure out what this league is all about, how it works, what the point of it is, what deck I'm playing, what my pool looks like, etc. So click that to go back to the very start of the league updates. But if you know why you're here and know what this is all about, we're going to jump right on in. So as I said, Tuesday was the final league night. All matches have been completed by people who wanted to complete all their matches so they could make it into the playoffs on Saturday. This was the deck that I had at the end of the last video, but I did do a last minute, or actually later than the last minute, because it was after game 2 of match 1, pivot into something a little bit more mid-rangey, which you see here. I decided 2 Sorens were just way too awesome to pass up, and so I put the second Soren in, along with 2 Throttles, in exchange for 2 Gibbering Fiends and a Blood Mad Vampire. Throttles are slow for sure, but with all the aggro that's out there, I would like to be heavy removal even if it is bad. That way I can use my Sinister Concoctions and my Murderous Compulsions and my Fiery Tempers that I already have on some slightly less threatening threats, knowing that I have Throttles coming up as well in future turns. And the less cluttered that I can keep the board, the more things that I can kill, the better I can do against those aggro decks. With the second Soren as well, it's much more easy for me to get into the final end game with a Soren out and really do some damage. Anyways, match 1 I was up against Kieran, who is number 1 in the league at the moment and has been for several weeks, and spoiler alert, still is. He was playing black-red, and that will become a theme. Game 1, I mulled to 5 and didn't do much of anything other than lose. Game 2, I did get the 2 Gibbering Fiends out before they got cut out of the deck, along with a pretty sizable burn from within to do some serious damage and win the game. Game 3, I managed to get both Planeswalkers out, but I faced just a ridiculous amount of raw removal from Kieran, and I did lose that game. Not a surprise, considering he is the number 1 player in the league, and his deck is just super good. But hey, taking it to Game 3 felt pretty good. Match 2, I was up against Anton, who was playing, surprise, surprise, red-black. Game 1 went a really long time. How long? Well, Nahiri got to 20 loyalty counters, and I did -2 her a couple of times, but she still got to 20. Finally, through pure attrition, I did manage to win that game. Game 2 was similarly just as long, but this time I was getting my life pinged away, a damage or 2 at a turn. I was going from 9 to 7 to 8 to 6 to 5 to 4 to top decking Soren and completely getting back in the game and winning that game after Soren came to join the fray. Match 3, I was up against Dan playing red-black as well. Game 1, he totally outmanned me, just getting so much discard for value. It was ridiculous. Game 2, I managed to get 3 Fiery Tempers in a row. 1 to kill off an Olivia that was on his side, 2 to hit him in the face, and then swing in for 7 for a total of 13 damage on a single turn, which won that game pretty handily. Game 3, he flooded, and I finished things off pretty quickly with a Nahiri and Fiery Temper value plus a Duelist to just kind of punch through and get things finished up. So I was 2-1 going into my last match, and I was up against Sean D, who was fighting for second place. So I had already played first place, why not play second place? Sean D was playing blue-white. No, of course he wasn't. He was playing red-black. Just like me, just like Kieran and Dan and Anton and everybody. He was on the red-black plan. Game 1, I again mulled to 5 and did absolutely nothing other than lose. Game 2, I flooded a little, but flooded into a Soren, which made things pretty okay. That's a pretty good card to flood into. Game 3, I managed to build a bit of a board. I kept most things off of his, and then managed to punch through with a pair of Duelists for a ton of damage over a couple of turns. And I wrapped that game up for another 3-1 night. Second 3-1 in a row night. It seemed pretty good. I was hoping that could, at a bare minimum, keep me where I was in the standings, or if not, maybe even climb up a rank. So I opened up my pack, and it was pure trash. Like, absolutely pure trash as far as my deck was concerned. As you can see, my rare was an Angel of Deliverance that I wouldn't have played even if I was in white. Some good white removal with Silver Strike, some good blue removal with Just the Wind, some really good green with Duskwatch Recruiter, but that does nothing for me. In black and red, we had a Rancid Rat, which I already have one of, Blood Mad Vampire that I already cut. Dance with Devils that I'm not playing anyways. Nothing good for me, so the pack was just kind of a total wash. So there will be no changes, for me at least, going into the finals of the playoffs. I will be keeping this deck here, which is the deck that I pivoted into and seemed to perform pretty well. So here are the standings at the end of the league. As you can see, Kieran did hold on to the first spot. Sean D finished up all of his matches, managing to climb up 4 spots to second place. And then we've got a whole lot of stability with just some minor changes. And you can see I dropped a spot to 6th place, which is pretty okay. It gets me into the playoffs. Now, one quick note, Sean C is the store owner, and while he does play in the normal regular season league matches, he does drop himself out of the playoffs if he makes it, because he doesn't take prizes. So the top 10 is actually the top 11 minus Sean C. Now, this is the first time we're going to be doing a top 10 instead of a top 8, so it did require a bit of finagling to work, because of course after round 1 we'd have 5 players and a bye, and that would be strange. So what happens, we're going to do a bye for first and second place in round 1. So because first and second did so well, they get rewarded by automatically winning round 1. Round 1 will be 3rd place through 10th place playing each other. At the end of round 2, we're going to again have an uneven number of people. So what's going to happen is the highest seeded losing player will get a chance to earn redemption by passing through to the semifinals in the bottom seed position. So here's the round 1 playoff matchup breakdown. It's going to be Laura against Dan. Laura's playing green-white, Dan is playing red-black. Steve, playing green-white, is going to be up against Anton, playing red-black. Matthew K, playing green-white, is going to be up against Alex, playing red-black. No, not red-black. Red-green, breaking the trend there. And then the final match will be myself playing red-black, of course, against Jonathan playing blue, green, and white, one of the more unique decks in the format. But as you can see, the finals are very heavy on the red-black, green, white plan. First and second place are both playing red-black, and then half the remaining field is playing red-black. A whole bunch of green-white, just ridiculous. It's kind of pretty clear what the 2 best decks are in the sealed format, at least. But yeah, I'm up against Jonathan, the only person playing blue, and he's playing a very unique deck. He is playing Avacyn, which is a significant problem, but I do really like my 2 throttles against his Avacyn, so I feel a little bit better. As well, this would probably be my slowest matchup. In the entire top 10, I think Jonathan's deck is the slowest, and that's pretty good for me because that means that it's going to give me a lot of time to fill my hand with removal and to get up to my Sorens and my Nahiris and things like that. Now, he does have a whole bunch of stuff to clog up the ground, Drownyard Explorers and things like that with 4 toughness, and Silent Observers, a 1/5. So getting through with aggression is going to be a little bit tricky. So I am going to need to really build towards those Planeswalkers. I'm going to need to build towards really big Burn from Withins. I'm going to need to save my Sinister Concoctions for things that I can't kill with Fiery Temper. I'm going to have to be careful with how I play this, and I'm going to have to be very vigilant when there's 5 mana, 2 of which is white, up on his side, because Avacyn could just ruin my game. I've only played him once back in week 3, I think, maybe week 4, and I did win, but who knows how much his deck has changed now. But that's my round 1 matchup. I feel fairly confident with my round 1 matchup. After round 1, I have no idea how I feel at all. I have beaten Matthew K, but that was back during week 1 during the opening tournament. I have beat Alex, I have beat Anton, I have beat Dan, I've beat Steve, although he flooded out miserably. And I've only played Laura once, but I lost to her. I've lost to first place, and I've beat second place both times I've faced him. So I have no clue how confident I feel going into these playoffs, but I will certainly let you guys know in the final update, which will recap the playoffs, both my matches and how they went. As well, I will do a recap of how all the other matches went, even if I don't quite make it through to the finals or things like that. I may attempt to get some gameplay footage. It won't be, of course, like a play-by-play or any commentary, but I may try to get some footage of the playoffs as well. So stay tuned for that. That should be up sometime this weekend or early next week, because the playoffs, of course, are Saturday afternoon. But I hope you guys have enjoyed these Sealed League updates. Definitely let me know if you've enjoyed them. If you do, I will keep doing them for our next league, which will be the Eldritch Moon League. Let me know if you enjoy it in the comments down below, and I will keep these up. But as always, if you have any questions, comments, or suggestions, you can find me on Twitter at The Mana Leak. That's L-E-E-K, like the vegetable, not the card. You can also find me at facebook.com/TheManaLeak and twitch.tv/TheManaLeak. As always, you found me here on YouTube, so use those comments. If you enjoy my videos, click that thumbs up icon, click that subscribe button, and if you do have any questions, comments, or suggestions, let me know. Otherwise, see y'all next time.